This memorial of St. Monica had the option of using this first reading from the book of Judith, and it is kind of a nice reading. It is kind of a good reminder of the fact that we almost never hear from the book of Judith in our Mass readings. This is one of those books where it doesn't come up at all, I don't think, on any of the Sunday readings or any of the daily readings. It is one of these options, these, kind of in the weeds options that you can occasionally use. And in some ways that's kind of unfortunate, but it's also a reminder that, even if you come to Mass every day of the year, there's a lot of the Bible that you do not hear. And it's good to be reminded that the book of Judith is in our Bibles, maybe not in those Protestant Bibles, which remove books, but in our Bibles it's certainly there. And it's good to be reminded of the story, reminded of the text, that it is inspired by God and it does have meaning for us still. And as we hear even just this short passage about Judith, it is a good reminder, as it says, as it closes, no one had a bad word to say about her. She was a very God-fearing woman. And she was, again, known in the community as a God-fearing woman, and no one had anything bad to say about her, and she could be then that voice for others. She could be a witness, an example of how to follow God, of how to live, of how to apply what we believe into the daily experiences and events of our lives. And this, in many ways, is what St. Monica sought to do as well, and did so wonderfully. For she truly was a God-fearing woman, raised from her youth in a Christian family, a Catholic family, and even though was married to a pagan husband, still prayed, and prayed regularly, saying that she even attended daily Mass as often as she could, that she would frequently give alms, and in many other situations where perhaps a pagan husband might be upset with a Christian wife for giving alms, for giving away money, he saw in her, even though he didn't believe what she did, that she had a beautiful heart and she had a true devotion. And he never got upset with her about that or some of these other practices. Again, not a perfect man by any means, but he saw in her something that was beautiful. And no one had a bad word to say about her, because she was a very God-fearing woman. As Christ reminds us in the gospel, you are the light of the world. That light is meant to be set on a lampstand where it gives light to all in the house. She was that lamp for the Lord, where his light could shine through and bring that light to the whole house, to her husband and to her children. And though not always as prompt as perhaps she might have wished, and yet in the midst of her prayers for her husband, for her wayward children, she continued to model that virtue of patience and holiness and perseverance. And just like with Judith, she was a model for the community. And St. Augustine speaks about how she would give advice to other women and wives and mothers, because they saw in her something that they desired too. They saw in her a holiness that they wanted to have in their own lives, and they sought her advice on how to deal with their own husbands and children. And she shared that freely and openly. And so I think it is good that this year we started in our parish the St. Monica group, a group of individuals who can come together with St. Monica as a patroness to share those stories of their lives and their families, to talk about a little bit of some of their struggles or their fears, and especially those loved ones who are away from the faith, who are away from God. And that in a group like that, by that intercession of St. Monica, there might be that true desire and that striving for holiness to say, this is that most important part. That when you pursue holiness, it is going to have a positive effect on everyone around you. And the more you can pursue that holiness, the more you can give a witness to others of how they are called to live as well. Because they will see in you more and more something beautiful, something to be desired. So we ask St. Monica's intercession for our families, for the St. Monica group here in our parish, for all those who have loved ones who are away from God, that by her intercession, by her example, by her advice, and that advice and example we share with one another, we might have those tools, those techniques to more fully live our own faith and more effectively share that faith with others. St. Monica, pray for us.